Good afternoon. One massive favour before we start, and I'm going to be super annoying, and that includes Phoebe Bartle, who's got her back to me, and she's currently not listening, so that's great. This room is really big. There's not many of you in here. Can everyone jump up, come to the front, sit on a random table, make yourself friendly with everyone else? Let's go up to the front. Come on, we're all retailers. Up and to the front. I learned this from you, Phoebe, so it's okay. Come on down. I'm going to preface 3 more things before I start. First one is I sound like I've been out all night. I haven't. I got married on the weekend. I've never talked to that many people in my life. I'm losing my voice, so bear with me. Hence why being at the front of the room is going to be helpful for you. What was that? Stop heckling me. Second thing, Ben Now, fabulous Ben Now from City Beach, ruined this presentation at about 2 o'clock when he asked for a nap. This becomes kind of redundant moving forward. He's also going to sit here and heckle. This is going to be fun. And then the third thing, just to preface before I get underway, is I actually have a really potty mouth. I tend to swear quite a bit. There's a Kepler swear jar with my name firmly lodged on it, so I apologise in advance, okay? You as well. It's going to be a very interesting afternoon, Phoebe Bartle. All right, so what am I talking about this afternoon? Advanced analytics. I got given this about 3 weeks ago, and I said to Kylie, who gave it to me, what the fuck is advanced analytics? I then kind of looked at it and I went, all right, we're going to talk about it. We're going to say, seeing the forest from the trees, the data forest. So that's what we're talking about this afternoon. I'm going to take you through 2 dashboards. Any questions along the way, sing out, interrupt, heckle, happy to take them. So, advanced analytics for us, I want to take you through 2 dashboards that are currently available on your Kepler dashboards. You've got access to them now. They pretty much prelude everything that's coming we talked about on the development roadmap and everything that everyone's been talking about today, which is simplicity. And if we go back to what Alan actually opened the conference this morning with, imagine if everyone knew the story. We're looking for simplicity. We have a lot of reports that we've got access to. We've got 4-wall, we've got location reports, we've got a wealth of data and information, and the Kepler dashboards as well. There's so much data, but we're looking for simplicity, and that's what we're talking about this afternoon in this quick session. So what we're looking at is the forest from the trees. Establish the trend or trends within your business, area, store, quickly and clearly. We're also looking at action. David Gordon's probably in a choke on his M&Ms when I say this, but Kepler is useless without people. Kepler's useless without people. And that's the most important thing for me as an ex-retailer, is the people. We need someone on the front line to actually drive an action. To get them that action, we need to be quick, clear, and concise. And that's what we're going to talk about. And then the application of the data and the insights to the wider business. So there's been a lot of talk about marketing. There's been a lot of talk about cross-functional departments. There's a whole sea of people and a whole team at the support office and that head office level who can actually get insights out of the data that we have here at Kepler. So I just want to touch on that briefly as we go through this afternoon. Before we get there, what does this tell me? Summary dashboard? What's it telling me? A lot? Anyone else? Cool. Lack of consistency. Good. I think Ben hit the nail on the head, and that's why you're getting the commission check at the end of this. Tells us a lot. The beauty of Kepler is that we tell you a lot. There's a wealth of information, there's a wealth of data. The problem can be making sense of it all. You need people to sit there and dissect. We don't all have Tennille from Michael Hill, who is the analyst that sits there and goes through it all. We're not that lucky. We do want one. We do want one. So the problem can be making sense of all of this data. We want to see the why, the how, and most importantly, what to do next. That's the biggest thing that you all asked for this afternoon. Give me the problem, give me the answer. In this session, I've got about 20 minutes left. We're going to explore 2 Kepler dashboards that will add value to your analytical process. It's the store comparison dashboard and the day of the week comparison dashboards. I'm going to take you through each dashboard, how they work, some insights, some tips, some tricks, how to use them, and most importantly, how to probably re-look at how you use Kepler. I know in all of your roles, you might actually not be using the dashboard. You might have things flowing into Cube, TRS, whatever it might be. But for your team that's underneath you, your area managers, your state managers, your heads of retail, your national managers, this is a really good way to reimagine your use of Kepler and the Kepler dashboards. So, before we get there, the first one I'm going to talk about is the store comparison dashboard. So, store comparison dashboard, has anyone used it? Does anyone know where it exists? David Gordon, you don't count. Phoebe, you've used it. Neil's used it. A couple of hands. If you've done a K-Way recently with me, you've probably used it. It allows you to compare metrics for different time periods against one another, and it displays the information in an easy to compare line graph. We're retailers, we're visual. Some people might say we're simple, but we like to see things clearly. And this is a really great dashboard for us because it is visual. It's a line graph. It allows you to compare select locations from your entire network. So now we can start to look at comparing states, stores against stores. We can really get into that benchmarking and understand what's happening across our business and then also down to a more granular level. If you have a marketing or promotional calendar integrated, you can actually overlay this information onto the store comparison. So you can bring in context to the numbers. Traffic went up, traffic went down, why? We had this promotion, we had this stock drop. You can flesh out what happened. We can add depth to the numbers that we're seeing. And this is really great when we think about those cross-functional teams. Your merchandising teams who are not on the front line, your marketing team who are looking at their reports all day long, not actually serving a customer, we can bring context into it. So, this is what the store comparison dashboard looks like. First things first, select groups, locations to compare. So we can, however your dashboard is set up, you can go through and you can pick individual stores, you can pick groups, you can pick locations, and you can pick as many or as little as you want there. Again, we're really feeding into the dashboard the information we want it to feed back to us. All of the usual filters at the top stay the same. So your measures, your date range, your frequency, whatever you're looking at, weekly, daily, monthly, yearly, quarterly, etc. You can add a comparative date range to review performance. This is where this dashboard gets really interesting. We can look at a select week or a select month, and then look back at another select week or a select month. So we can look at month over month, we can look at week over week, we can look at day over day. You can add more than one comparative date range, really starts to help us flesh out this analysis when we're looking at our stores and groups. And then the marketing calendar overlay. Handy little toggle down the bottom here. Toggle that on, and if we've got your marketing calendar integrated, it will display that information as well. As I said before, adding context and depth to our numbers.
How do you integrate it?
Contact Joshua Sudwigs, wherever he is.
Like, do you have to put the data in, or is it something that flows in?
If you've got it in an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, give it to us
And it can be uploaded.
Excel
Yeah.
Yeah. So same as your store target, same as your trading hours. If you send the information to us, we'll add it in for you.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
We've got an email for you.
Okay. On to the next slide. We can see that I've picked some locations. I've got location A through F here. Store comparison dashboard. Visually establish under or over performance. We're looking at a period of time here. You can see we're looking at weekly. We've got our measure at the top, which is sales conversion. You get all of your measures presented. And then we've got that the period of time that we're looking at. It's the 22nd of August. I went right back to the 3rd of January. So really 8 months worth of time. I'm not looking at a sea of numbers like we looked at on the first page with the summary dashboard. I'm actually visually charting each of these locations and their performance. So I can visually and really quickly see under or over performance. What's happening in location A? Why is it overperforming the rest of my network? what's happening in location B? Why is it underperforming? And it's been significantly underperforming the rest of the network. It is really clear, concise and quick to arrive at that destination. All chosen metrics are shown individually, which I said before, so you can just scroll through and see. You can pull them out, you can print, you can do a print of an image, you can pull them off the dashboard, the same with all our other data. So this is really handy if you're putting together board packs, reports. You don't have to then go into Excel and actually make your own charts. We've got them here ready for you to go. Let's give you back some time, because that's the one thing that everyone said today, they don't have time. Easily see changes in performance. What happened in February for location A when we dropped off? What happened in May for location E where it climbed? And then again, what happened in July for all of the stores and particularly location A? We can quite quickly visually chart the performance and start asking questions, and most importantly, driving actions with our teams. This is our comparative date range. So you can see that the comparative date range is shown at the top here. I've got August down the bottom and then I've got July across the top. What I'm able to see is for location A and location C, those 2 months, and I'm able to chart the performance and the comparative performance of both of those locations. Again, really great to be able to start to look at that performance, benchmark the two against each other, and start asking questions. Again, it's really about the why, and then how do we fix it? Track the change in performance for locations. So again, visual, you can see it happening. And then we've got our comparative variance. So again, we do the legwork for you. We're very helpful here at Kepler. We want to give you time back in your day. You've got your comparative variances. We're then going back to these two locations and we're saying to the store manager, the area manager, why? What's happened? Why were we better in one month over the other month? What are all of the factors that we had within our control? And then how do we look to drive a result? Last one is the example I just want to look at here. Visual representation of locations, locational locations, and a long-term trend. If you're anything like me in my previous role, we used to get together on a Monday, we'd sit down, we'd go line by line through each location, we'd review performance week over week. Exhaustive exercise, probably take half a day, and it was very much detail orientated, very thorough. The problem here is that small changes that are occurring on a weekly or a daily basis, we're not often picking them up. We lose 5%, 0.5% one week, we lose 1% the next week. It's a big change, but in the scheme of week over week review, we're not going to pick it up. It's not ringing alarm bells. When we start to look at this long-term performance, again, we're looking at 8 months. This location lost 28% in their sales conversion over 8 months. We're starting to isolate and align the performance variance, which we can see here. And then chart subtle changes in performance. Of that 28%, 18% of that decrease in your sales conversion actually happened in 1 month. Ben, if I said to you your store dropped 18% in 1 month in your sales conversion, would the Mountain Dew go absolutely out your ears and you'd probably be yelling at someone? I'm glad I asked for wrong answers only. This is where the visual representation of data really starts to come into play. Let you in on a little secret. I don't know if I'm going right for time. Eric, 10 more minutes, is that okay? I like story time like Tony. I did Maths A at school. Didn't do too well at Maths A. Now I work for a data company. I'm not very good at maths. I'm a retailer. I like talking to people. That's my jam. But if I can understand the data and if I can have the practical application, and the most important thing for your teams is not about getting stuck in the weeds of data. It's about being able to see the trend and then find the opportunity. And this is where this really comes into play. Think about that Monday meeting. Sam, you probably still do it at MJ Bale. Might be a little bit easier for you if we're not looking line over line, but we're looking at your long-term trend. How are your stores performing? How are your states performing? And then what is driving those results? So that's your store comparison dashboard. I'm going to jump on now to day of the week. Are there any questions before we roll on? Yes.
Can I just, we don't use Kepler yet, so sorry if I'm asking questions.
I've been very facetious. Hopefully you still proceed to use this.
We've got nearly 300 stores. We get a lot of letters from landlords to say we're about to start development, remove an escalator, whatever it is. You can imagine with all those letters coming in, keeping track of those and tracking sales. So is there a feature that you could put in on this date, like if you're uploading a marketing calendar, you upload is the development impact that's going to go to this date, and then I get an alert at the end date to say your sales were impacted by this much, then I need to send it to the landlord for rental abatement?
Yes and no. The first being yes, because this is a manual upload for us, we can put any detail in there. So, store works would be able to be input much the same as a 25% off promotion. The email piece out the other end is probably to be worked on. David, are you going to jump the gun and tell me something that I don't know?
I'm just going to say that the marketing calendar we spoke about, it's not necessarily a marketing calendar, it's a calendar.
Yeah.
So if in your calendar you have a marketing event called escalator works or change of store manager or anything you like, that's an event. So you could say all events in blue are new store managers, and you can have a date and time for the first month of the new store manager. So you can chart anything you like. It sits at the bottom of the in a Gantt chart. Essentially sits down there and says these 4 days something happened. So you can chart anything.
The problem with centre works is it can get lost and you move on. Yeah. And if it's a 9-month project or whatever they're doing at the centre, you've moved on. When did it start? You've got so many stores. So if something is prompting you, hey, because the landlord's not going to give you abatement until there's proof that the sales were impacted. So you get the money after the fact.
Yep. That's why that blue book is so important, because the blue book is this is what happened and this is why it happened, and you essentially type in what happened. So your store would say things are going down, and the store would then be asked the question why, and say there's works outside.
Yeah, the store team don't always know though exactly what's happening. Yeah. So anyway.
I think the key thing is essentially you just need someone to own it, but what you put in with Kepler, how much information you put in is the more you get out. So if you've got the ability for someone in the team to be able to input that detail or give it to us, we can definitely load it in there, 100%. Last one, so first one we looked at store comparison, it's a line graph. Last one is day of the week comparison. Has anyone used this before? Has anyone seen it? Yeah, cool, awesome, good on you Phoebe, gold star. It allows you to compare metrics for different days across different time periods. It's like trends but on steroids. It's really, really great. It's bar graph, again, visual. We just like to be able to see what's clearly happening in the business. Day of the week comparison, you can can easily show you a numerical / visual representation of outside traffic for each day on average across 3 months. And it does it for all of your metrics and measures. It allows you to look for a business area or a store across a period of time and shows inconsistency, downward or upward trends. So we're really looking at the performance of the business, and then again asking the question why, what happened, what's different, what made one Monday different to the next Monday, what makes Monday different to Saturday or Sunday. And we're working back with our teams around resolutions. So results are grouped by day of the week across the bottom, Sunday through Saturday or your trading weeks. Same thing again at the top, you input all of the data through the filters as you normally do. We tend to suggest a wide date range, so we're talking about 4 to 8 weeks works the best. We're not looking at 1 week, we're really looking at a consistent trend across a period of time. What is persistently happening in the business? Is the store manager slacking off on a Tuesday? Are they short-staffed on a Thursday? We're looking for things that happen repeatedly. Changes in trends will be highlighted. Visual, again, you can see where we're up, you can see where we're down, you can see where we go in terms of the peaks and the troughs. So very visual, very helpful, particularly when you're time poor. What we're looking at is for 3 different trends. The first being inconsistency. Our results are all over the place. Is it staff? Is it product? Is it your customers not coming in? What is leading to this inconsistency? And again, we're driving back to our frontline team. How do we fix the problem? Downward trend. Again, this is something that you might pick up in your weekly review. You miss a couple of percents. As Alan said this morning, we're really just looking for 1%. That's all we need. When we drop 1%, we're also looking for it as well. The data forest, we want to see the trees. We want to actually see the big picture. We want to see what's happening. That's the downward trend. So very, very clearly visual there. And then the upward trend, where we're succeeding. We're actually performing in an upward fashion. Again, what's happening? What's driving this? Is it product? Is it our process? What's the output? Is it our customer? Are we delivering great experience? These are the questions we start to unpack. So for frontline teams, store managers, area managers, day of the week allows for opportunity analysis. Opportunity is my favourite word at Kepler. I say it 4,000 times a day. Helps us to see where they're winning, where their performance is below requirements or expectation. And it also allows them to drive meaningful change where it matters most. Again, we're not looking for analysis paralysis. It's about spending 5-10 minutes and then getting out on the floor and serving your customers. If we don't serve the customers, we don't make money. You're not employing Kepler to count your traffic. For support a head office function, it allows a visual view of the cadence of the business across the week. Think about your marketing teams. They talk about EDMs, they talk about ROI, they talk about ROAS. Have they ever actually sat there and looked, what was that? Yeah. Have they actually ever sat there and looked at the footfall for their stores across a weekly period? Are we sending the EDM on the right day? Is the Instagram post actually going up at the right time? Is it personalised? Is it localised to the store team that's sitting there waiting for the customers to come in and they've got nothing driving traffic? Think about if you put this in front of your marketing team, highly visual individuals. Sorry if anyone's from marketing here, I'm not being offensive. But this is a really great way to help them start to understand the cadence of your business. And one of those applications back to your support or head office functions. Understand your customer behaviours and the opportunity across your entire business, and then also down to the stores that need support or regions. It's an agile dashboard, can be adapted to show the most meaningful insight in the least amount of time. Save time and effort in review, spend time driving action. Practical application, it's my last slide, I'm done. You can all breathe a sigh of relief, then we get into some awards. The practical application for this is, what was that? You still, who? Okay, so first point, we've all sat in a trade meeting on a Monday morning. That's generally where they happen, or we've met with the CEO of a business and we've been asked the question, what happened in the business, why, and what's the resolution? Snap my fingers, fix the problem. Second point, gain back time in the review of your entire business, state, area, or region. Avoid analysis paralysis. I love data. But what I learned through using Kepler in the practical application is it doesn't mean anything if we're not actually putting it into use. So take the insight, drive the result with your store teams or with everyone below you on the shop floor. What we want to see is what is the big picture, what's happening in my business, and how do we challenge, or if it's successful, how do we reward it? And then finally, store comparison day of the week dashboards, they highlight subtle changes that might not be clear. As I said before, you're going to pick up what you're not seeing in those trend or those summary dashboards where you're losing 0.5, 0.25, 0.1. It's going to start to actually show you the changes that have serious impact to your top line revenue. The example we used before, 28% in 8 months, like alarm bells. You're going to be able to start to see it. Thank you very much. Have we got any questions? Is everyone okay? Silence is golden. Yes, sir.
Expected more swearing.
Fuck, I'm sorry. All right, awesome. Thanks so much.